Oh, let's fucking go, baby! Holy Toledo! 15% gainer freaking day. Not too freaking bad. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trey's Trades, where we freaking talk fast and don't skip class, baby. I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. So today, my friends, my family, my fellow Gorilla Gang, we're going to be talking about ticker symbol AMC. We're going to give you the ortex data. I want to go over the short volume percentage, the Stocko tracker, which shows us about how many available shares there are to borrow, as well as call options that are currently in the money. I'll walk you through why that's an important process. Finish this off with the technical analysis. But first and foremost, I'd like to start off by talking about my MRI stuff, because I know that's something that a lot of people have been curious about. Want to know how everything's going, give you guys the overall update and kind of what's rocking with my personal life. So I got my MRI results back from my heart. I've had some heart issues. If you're new to the channel, I have to. There's just some complications that I've got. So I'll walk you through what they found. It was about 3 different things, right? So they did end up confirming that I have a heart shunt. Now essentially what this is it's a hole in one of my ventricles that makes unoxygenated blood mixed with the oxygenated blood, which obviously is problematic. This causes me to have to pass out, to have different bodily effects that end up creating scar tissue in the actual muscle of the heart, as well as long-term effects that obviously aren't ideal. They also found that my right and left ventricles are not operating at full capacity. My left ventricle is operating currently at 41.1% calculated ejection fraction. My right ventricle is operating at about 35.4% ejection fraction calculated. So those are the big things. And then the last thing, which is the first step that we're taking towards getting everything fixed, is they found that I've got some sort of irregular heartbeat, an arrhythmia that is caused by some sort of misfiring of the neurons in my heart. So I don't know what's causing that. They don't know what's causing that either. But the first step that we're taking essentially is going to be, they're going to be cutting my chest open and implanting some sort of, they called it a loop, which I think is essentially just like a heart rate monitor. They want to watch the rhythm. They want to see when I've got irregular spikes, then keep track of that sort of stuff and give me some sort of diagnostic on what's actually causing this, what sort of arrhythmia I've got, so they've got some sort of course of action, a game plan to move forward. But that surgery to get that implant done is going to be June 30th as it sits right now. So that's the first kind of step that we're taking. But it did get confirmed that I'm very likely going to be having open heart surgery. So I've got that coming up. The open heart surgery, I've asked if they can do this to the artery, but that's, I guess, not something they typically do for people my age. So they will be cracking my chest open. I don't know when the time is for that, but they do have to seal up that hole in my heart. So that is something that is going to be coming up, something that does need to get taken care of. I'm doing okay, my friends. I'm just, it was a little bit surreal to hear in person, but there's way more important things going on right now than that. So let's just get into the meat and potatoes. I want to give you guys the update so that you guys know I'm okay. You know what's rocking. We know what's coming up here with that whole situation, but we're cooking with Crisco, baby, and don't worry, I'm not going to hit the side of my chest. I'm not going to hit the side of my chest anymore. But nonetheless, let's just get into the stock and what we got cooking up right now. So with that being said, right, let's look at the overall ortex information. So as you can see here, you've got a lot of shares according to this that have been returned. Now this is the short interest change. Keep in mind that you've got a T2 system right here. So any sort of shares on loan that have been returned take 2 days to register in the system. So this could have been shares that were returned from loan previously last Thursday or Friday, probably Friday, just based on that T2 system, right? So not all of these may actually be the current short interest percentage of free float. Notice that this number over here, 13.94, is different than you've got right now. So we'll have to see what this number is in the morning, but this does indicate that maybe some of the legitimate shares that are out on loan could have covered. That is an explanation, right? We've got another explanation. I like to give you both sides. I'm not going to say either way or the other. What we will do is talk about the overall price action and give you some sort of freaking 10-town synopsis on what's been cooking up with the stock. But another explanation is that if you look at the S3 data, which Ihor Dusanewski puts out on Twitter, it still has a very high squeeze potential, and the short interest on that looks vastly different, right? So I'm actually going to pull up Twitter here really quick and just show you exactly what I'm talking about, because he puts out information on a pretty regular basis. Ihor Dusanewski right here keeps track of the S3 data on all sorts of different stocks. So you can see right here, the short interest is $3.57 billion, 74.51 million shares shorted, which is about 14.91% short interest of the flow. Now that is a different number that you've got rocking up right now with Ortex, and the difference here is whether or not they're taking into consideration all exchanges. Keep in mind that Ortex gives you about 85% of the overall exchange reported reported being the key word because we know that there's malpractice that takes place in terms of reporting their actual short interest on stocks, not including naked shorts, not including failure to delivers, which derive from call options running in the money, being exercised, and the market makers that write those contracts are not able to deliver on the stock for those particular call options, right? So this is an estimate. It's a trend. It does not tell you the entire picture, right? It does not consider naked shorts. Yeah. It doesn't give you the whole picture. This is a trend. The trend is, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if at least some of the shares that were shorted have been covered. You still have 11.86% short interest of free float. In order for a squeeze to reach its full capacity, which I think is very possible here, I think it is going to happen, you need every single short to cover. And you need the naked shorts to cover. You need the failure to delivers to get cracked down on. The synthetic shares that are circulating on the market need to get cracked down on. There's more on the table here. I 100% believe it. Now let's just look at the daily short sale volume percentage. This has been extremely low, and I think this is coinciding very well with the fact that the shares on loan has been going down significantly. Now this does not mean that there's not some sort of malpractice and corruption taking place. In fact, if you look at the price action today, I'd be willing to bet you a pretty decent chunk of change that there was some sort of algorithmic trading or short laddering that took place with this little momentum piece right here. Now I'm very particular about stating these sort of things, but this sort of setup was extremely bullish. You had a two-step, essentially one small one, one large one, bull flag setup. Now, if you look at this on the hourly candles, check this out. You've got a massive bull flag setup that was broken to the upside. You had another bull flag setup on the 1 minute candles that was broken to the upside. This sort of momentum doesn't typically come with a sell-off and a push down underneath the volume weighted average price, this gold trend line, in a single 1 minute candle. That is a calculated move. So I would not be surprised if you had some sort of algorithmic trading, short ladder attacks, which is essentially two parties, two hedge funds, two institutions that trade back and forth, slapping the bid in the ass back and forth, or at market order, whatever it ends up being, right? Essentially just laddering down using a very small amount of shares over and over and over and over to drive price down and simulate selling pressure. So even though you've got a low overall short volume percentage, that does not mean that there's still not other malpractices taking place, which contribute to the overall price action. You could have seen some people who ended up, taking small profits today, but I find that unlikely is based on momentum alone. People like to buy green, people like to sell red. This was insane momentum. This sort of technical breakout would by all means indicate that you would test that $60+ range. So I think some big money stepped into the ball here, right, and tried to push this back down. They could have used dark pools, they could have used a variety of different methods, right? We don't know at the end of the day, and we're not going to know the short volume percentage for today until tomorrow, but nonetheless, that's what you got cooking up right here. Stock tracking, you've currently got about 550,000 total shares available to borrow, which is actually lower than we saw at the beginning of the day. So that is, well, not at the beginning of the day, but intraday at the very least, right? So that's a good thing to see. This means that the available shares that are currently there for shorting are getting eaten up, which is a sign that this is still being a shorted stock, right? I actually want to come back to Ortex. This is something that Matt pointed out to me, and I think it's pretty fascinating. So check this out. I want to show you the average lifespan on how long these short positions have been held. Now look at this light green trend line right here where my mouse is hovering, right? Check this out. The average length that a loan has been held is 53 days as of what appears to be June 4th. That's a pretty freaking long time. The people who have short positions in this stock are down a significant amount of money. They're banking on this going back down. If the average day that a share has been on loan is 53 days, let's just look back 53 days ago, right? We're just going to ballpark this and go back 2 months, right? Check this out. We're going to go back 2 months. It's currently June 7th. If we just go back to, that'd be April 7th, right? What was the price on April 7th? You're looking at $10. These guys could be down freaking 500% right now. These guys are deep in the water. They're getting freaking pissed on hard. hard. They're not in pretty territory. So that's what you got cooking up right there. And I think the most interesting piece that we saw today is that the SEC charged a trading firm with naked short selling, baby. You love to freaking see it. That is cracking kingdom if I ever freaking seen it, baby. I wanted to put this down, but oh, this looks good. The black roast Kraken. I'm not going to put any down, though, because I know what's going to happen in the chat bar, the comment section down below. People are going to be like, you shouldn't be drinking with your hard stuff, and I get it. I shouldn't. But anyways, getting back into this, that's kind of what you got here for the holistic picture on the data side of things for AMC stock. Looking at the technicals, we did end up getting a breakout over this overall bull flag setup, this descending level of resistance. Yesterday, I put out a video saying I think this is likely going to happen. I thought you get a break over this descending trend line is based on the 4 trend test rule. Typically, if you get 4 touch points on any given level of resistance, the fourth break will get the push, and you got it here. 1, 2, 3, fourth test, it got the breakthrough, right? So that's a clean break, and the way that it's holding on is very strong. The reason I believe that is because if you draw up a Fibonacci retracement, which gives you the idea of the overall strength on a chart, it is only retraced down to about 38.2%, which is very, very strong. That shows you that people who have bought the stock over the last 24 hours period of time are holding that stock, right? They're not selling it, even with this minor sell-off that we saw here, back down to that $52, $51 range. Overall, guys, up 14.8% on the day. That's beautiful. That's freaking nasty, disgusting, absolute filth that is going to bring us to Tendytown, Kraken Kingdom, Chicken Church. You know what it is, my friends. We're just waiting on the next big move. So what do you got cooking up right now? What can we expect tomorrow? You've got a nasty double bottom George W setup rocking right here that was from this bull flag, right? So what you're looking at next is a clean break over this level of resistance where you've got 3 different touch points on these hourly 2-hour candles, right? Check this out. That comes out to about $59.33. So a clean break over, I would call, $60 should bring you to $62, which is going to bring you to that next level of resistance at about 71, which should then retest that pre-market high that we saw at 77 bucks. I really do genuinely believe this week is going to be extremely bullish. The strength that we saw today, we closed very, very dang near close the daily intraday high, which shows you a lot of freaking strength, right? Even after that sell-off, people stepped back in and bought that stock, which is beautiful. That just shows you the absolute massive silverback gorilla orangutan strength that you've got cooking up on AMC right now. So everything is looking beautiful. I am expecting a retest of that $60 level of resistance, whether it be a gap up in the pre-market, right? Or, the regular market hours. I really do think there's going to be a test that comes with that, especially considering that the last 2 days have been a little bit of consolidation, getting ready for that next rip up, right? I've said this a million times, I'll say it again, rips followed by consolidation are bullish. And that is what this was. Even if it was a volatile consolidation, right? It doesn't mean barcoding. Barcoding referring to essentially stocks that just trade pennies by penny by penny by penny spreads. That's not healthy price action, but that's consolidation to a T. That's very, very bullish, and I love seeing that overall sort of price action that we've got cooking up right now. So that's looking pretty dang decent. Watch for that $60 break. I'm hoping that it comes tomorrow. I think it will come tomorrow. $60 will bring you 62. 62 will bring 65 to 70 to test that all-time high on AMC stock, which will bring us to, you know what it is. Come on, just say it all out. See how it feels. 100 fucking schmackles, baby. So that's what I've got cooking up for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Blah, blah, blah. I know the whole spiel. Drop a like, consider subscribing. Whatever you want to do, my friends. Much love. Catch you on the next one, and peace.